Ladies and gentlemen, we're here today, joined again by my good friend, Mr. Danny Wilson, and he's going to be talking to us about sleep. Thank you for coming in today, Danny.
No problem, sir.
It's good to have you.
It's always good to be here.
It's always good to see you, sir. So we're talking about sleep today.
We are.
Apparently sleep is important for a human being.
Well, yes. Yeah, I think important is probably a slight understatement.
So we were chatting in the gym
We were.
after you battered me.
No.
Yes.
No.
Pretty pain. We did an hour of a full body workout, and then the finisher was what do you call that thing? That horrible
prowler. Pushing and pulling the prowler. We had an emotional time, Richard.
It was very emotional. I mean, I needed therapy after that. I had a little bit of PTSD. We started talking about the sleep thing.
We did,
resilience to, well, just the stress of daily life.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things you told me actually shocked me a little bit there. Yeah. You said that it's proven scientifically that if people are not getting a certain type of sleep, that they will become more emotional and have less resilience.
100%. So if we just kind of break it down a little tiny bit, sleep is split into 3 separate phases, which we rotate in and out of all through the night. Every 90 minutes, we kind of go through each one of those. So we've got light sleep, which is basically the transition when you're closing your eyes and then you're drifting off to sleep. Nothing really is kind of happening. You're just asleep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then we've got deep sleep, which is more to do with physical repair, physical regeneration. Then we've got REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. Some people will know it as dream sleep. So that's obviously when we're dreaming. And it's during this phase of sleep that we repair more emotionally, more of a kind of mental kind of repair. And it's that particular part of sleep that a lot of people miss out on. Even if you do go through a couple of cycles of kind of dream sleep, if you're not getting enough sleep every single night, your perception of events is going to be negatively skewed. So something which normally wouldn't really bother you, if you are sleep deprived, the severity of that event will go absolutely through the roof. And you could probably think back to pretty much every shit decision that you've ever made. If you could reflect on it and like really kind of be accurate on it, it would generally be following 1 or 2 nights of disrupted sleep.
With the REM sleep, you were particularly, I think you said it's a time to sort memories, emotion, and like meaning. So that's why we have the weird symbols in the dreams as your unconscious is sorting meaning out. And we had that conversation, and then you said to me, have an active rest tomorrow. So we trained really hard, and then you said, do an active rest tomorrow. And what I did instead, Dan, was I trained again.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And then you mentioned fasting, and I was like, I haven't done that fasting thing for a while. So trained really hard with you, trained again, and then thought today's the day to start fasting.
Okay.
And woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, just stressed to death.
Yes.
Couldn't sleep from 3 till 6.
Yes.
The landlady then hid my passport from me. I'm due to go to Serbia at the end of the month.
Okay.
She got confused, didn't know she'd hid it from me. I had a mental breakdown that day. I was nearly in fucking tears.
Not massively surprised.
Yeah, so decided to do a worked demonstration.
Yes.
In my own life.
What you thought was, I don't believe him. Yeah. Listen, I do not believe this guy.
But what are personal trainers for if not to be ignored? It's like me when I'm doing coaching with people. I'm like, you need to do this, and this to regulate your emotions. And they go, I'm going to do none of that.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, but I'm going to ignore you. Yeah. It's interesting you say that you woke up at like 3-ish.
Yep.
Because if we look at your night of sleep, which kind of interestingly enough, if you're not tracking sleep, everybody's like, oh no, I get 8 hours every night, mate.
Yeah.
It's the same as when people go, no, only have 1,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
No, you don't. I can see that you don't. So people generally believe that they go to bed at 10, they wake up at 6, they get 8 hours sleep.
Yeah.
They absolutely 100% don't.
Yeah.
But if we were to kind of look at your entire night's sleep, the first half of the night is more dream sleep heavy. So you're still going through these cycles, you're still getting light, deep and REM sleep, but you're going to be spending a bit longer in deeper sleep.
Yes.
Which means that the second half of your sleep opportunity is more heavily REM based. So from 2, 3 in the morning, that's where we have all the crazy dreams. That's where we make sense of things that have happened in the day. That's where we file memories from our short-term memory to our long-term memory. So it clears out the short-term memory.
Which is basically what you've just said there that's therapy.
100%.
You're filing.
It's 100% therapy. You are during that particular phase of sleep, your heart rate and your brain activity is as if you're doing a workout.
Is it really?
Mentally, you're giving it beans.
Right.
And that's why your body paralyzes itself. Your brain will just shut all movement off. So you don't act your dream out and you're not kicking and punching people.
Because, I see. So you're going through this whole virtual reality simulation and your body goes, right, shut them off. So they don't.
So it's just your brain and your eyes are going like that. But your entire body is just completely paralyzed.
And you're saying so your heart rate goes from it's sleeping and then it observably spikes up again.
Oh yeah,
then,
it's like you're awake. It's like you're fighting. If you're having a dream where you're fighting, which I always do, and I'm 99% you do. We always win. Yeah. Your body is basically acting it out. Your brain waves are like it's like your peak mental state. You're just alive.
And what we're saying is you need this to sort through painful memories, to sort through trauma, arguments, confrontation.
Yeah.
If you're not getting that, all the talk therapy in the world is not really going to do anything because you're not processing it.
You're not processing it, and you're like I said at the beginning, your perception of events, and as we obviously know, it's the way that you perceive an event dictates the action that you're going to take, which then dictates the kind of the end result.
The consequences.
So if you've got something, I know I've had it, and it's quite interesting because I know what I'm talking about. I see it in myself. So we moved house not too long ago. I had 3 days of rubbish sleep, eating terrible food, not drinking enough water, and I was basically the devil himself. I was just a horrible guy.
He was a little emotionally and hormonally dysregulated.
Jesus, I wish it was a little bit. I was horrible.
Yeah.
And I kind of took myself to one side and sat down. I was like, right, what's going on? Who are you? Why are you doing this? And then I was like, right, you've had no sleep. You've been drinking Pepsi Max and no water, and you've been eating Dominoes because you're living out of boxes.
Yeah.
Right, bumf. So spent the rest of the day drinking water, didn't eat any crap, made sure, and we'll kind of get onto this later, made sure that the lead up for that day, because if you really do want to improve your sleep, it starts the second you get out of bed. That's the kind of, I was speaking to a guy yesterday and he's just like, sleep's sleeping it. How can you improve it? Like, I actually happen to have a program that you can join, sir. Here you go. And I'll tell you all about it. But it starts in the morning. So when I had this little crazy time, shall we say, I still apologize to my kids. I'm like, I'm so sorry. You know that's not me. I'll buy you a new Xbox. It's fine. Don't worry.
Daddy, sorry, he shouted at you for no real reason.
So when I had that little thing, I straight away put measures in place for that night rather than just lose my marbles and then try and go to sleep, because it's just not gonna happen.
Well then, so here's the thing that interests me, because obviously you've been advising me for years with the training and with the nutrition and everything, and a lot of it, and I think this was in the fitness industry as well, it was food focused. So the thing to do would be like, it's not about the exercise you're taking, it's about the food you're eating. Yeah. Would you say that now you would say that sleep supersedes like that as well? Like sleep is a primary.
Yeah, I would say anyone that I work with personally now, sleep is at the forefront of of what we do. If I'm working with a client who is looking to lose a few pounds, just by implementing some interventions around sleep, again, we'll come back to perception. Your ability to make rational decisions increases, and your ability to make emotional decisions kind of wanes a little tiny bit. So when we're tired and we're emotional, so physiologically our body's going against us anyway, but our mental state is, oh no, it's fine. I'll just ring Domino's and it'll be absolutely fine. So if we can
I'll sort it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll do some burpees tomorrow.
I'll do it in the morning. I'll take the dog for a walk. That's the kind of thing that because that's the way that
it's
you
not
think.
rational. It's nonsense.
Just like, no, it's absolute gibberish. But that's the way that you think. So if we can help a client get 7 to 9 hours of restorative sleep, their decision-making ability is going to improve the next day. So if we can look at implementing a good night's sleep plus some education around nutritional choices and times of day to eat and that kind of thing, that is going to get like insane results.
This is where I see the crossover between the fitness and the therapeutic stuff, because ultimately, like, it's not in the therapy session or the coaching session, it's not in the fitness session or the strength session in the gym with you that any of the work is really done.
No,
it's when the client's on their own. It's when 100%. We're on our own. It's consistency and it's adherence. So you'll say to a client, you're going to track your calories, you're going to eat this much at this time, whatever. And I'll be saying to them, these are the emotional literacy exercises you got to be doing. You got to be checking in with yourself. It's a bit of a hassle. It's a bit of a pain in the arse. It's not spontaneous.
No,
it's not like sticking on Netflix or, as you say, shoving a slice of pizza in your mouth. You got to actually think about it. So how important then is sleep to adherence to discipline?
Oh, it's got to be right up there. It's got to be. Like I said, we keep coming back to kind of perception. If you can look at something, let's just say that you give your clients an exercise, if they can look at it and go, I see where we're going with this, I'm going to do it. If you look at that with a tired brain, all you're seeing was, nah,
that's work.
Nah,
I don't want to write things down on a piece of paper.
I'm watching Squid Game.
Good show.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
You didn't like it at all, did you?
No. My girlfriend thinks I'm being awkward. She's like, you only don't like it because I do. No,
it's not that.
It's not how it works.
If I don't like it,
I don't like it.
This adherence and the consistency. I know people want like a magic bullet, but there isn't one really. And I always, again, like to draw the correlation between the fitness and the mental health. Obviously, if you're overweight, it took you a period of time to get there.
100%.
Nobody gets fat overnight. No. So if you've had 6 months of eating crazy, same with the trauma, like it's 6 months or it could be 6 years of a traumatic environment or a calorie dense environment, let's say, to draw that correlation. You're not doing it overnight. No. There's not going to be a spontaneous moment. Hallelujah, you're fine. It's time, isn't it?
100%.
So to adhere with discipline over time, to have the realistic expectation to be adult enough and sensible enough to do that, you've got to be taking care of your sleep, is what you're saying.
100%. If you are not looking at the bigger picture, if you are expecting your life to turn around after one Zoom session with you, after one day of implementing the advice that I give, you are straight away, you're just not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's when you can zoom out. Anyone who's been successful in any endeavor that you want to do, one of the traits that they have is delayed gratification.
Yeah.
One of the traits that they have is, if I do this every single day, I am going to get here.
Yeah.
So they don't look at the fact that, right, okay, maybe we're on a fasting protocol. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, maybe I'm just going to jib it all off. They go, well, I know that if I do this today, let's get today out the way and tomorrow out the way and the day after it. So they delay the gratification. That's a trait with everybody who's been successful.
Yeah, it's long-term thinking, isn't it?
100%.
You've got to be in your adult to zoom out. It's not about how you feel right now. It's not about just sticking some butter and marmalade on a piece of toast. No. And then you're selling yourself on that. You go, it doesn't matter because I really need this right now. You still have that long-term perspective to say, as you say, the delayed gratification, just wait. Just keep going. You've got to stick on this course. It's days and weeks and months. And
do you know what? I think it's an issue with the way that society is now. We want everything. I'm old enough. And I think you are.
I'm afraid we both are, Dan.
I think we're both old enough. Do you remember when, and I talk about this quite a lot with clients, do you remember when if you ordered something from a catalogue, obviously not online, because online, there wasn't a line to be on. It was a 28-day delivery time. You had to wait a month for your stuff to come. So back, years and years ago, stuff was a bit slower.
Yeah.
Now we have Amazon delivering whatever you want on the same day.
Yeah.
People want stuff now.
Yeah.
So the brain's ability to kind of handle, and I'm a sod for it.
Yeah.
If I order something online, I want it now.
Yes.
If I decide I want something, no, I don't want it next week. I want it now.
Yeah.
And that's the way people are with everything. I want to lose 5 stone, but I want to lose it fucking now.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose it in 6 months. I don't want to have to do that. I want to do it now.
We'd physically have to cut you open and suck it out.
Yes, I'm going to cut your legs off.
I'll get the Hoover. Yeah. Danny will bring the scalpel. This is our new thing. We'll do it at home for you. Listen, you'll definitely lose the weight. You might not survive. Yeah. You lose it in blood. This got dark, Danny.
I don't just took myself off to a place there.
It's like 7 this. Yeah, so what I heard you saying, because I've known that sleep was important, but I was just like, oh yeah, why am I not teaching people this? And I just don't. It's like psychology, academic psychology as it is, it really needs integrating. Well, we've said this a number of times, like with the physical, much more. And just that one thing, like you're not going to process trauma if you're not getting this REM sleep, and you're not going to adhere to the disciplines we all have to adhere to if we're traumatized and seeking to heal, that we have to adhere to for fucking months, if not years, if we're not sleeping properly. Like you just said, if I give somebody an exercise and they haven't slept and they wake up the next day, they'll look at that and they'll be like, F that.
Your ability to resist cravings just goes completely out the window.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are. I woke up early last week or the week before, and this is what I do. I actually know my shit. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, spent the entire day eating crisps and chocolate.
Really?
Yeah. Entire day.
How are you so lean?
I battered myself and punished myself for it. No, it's one day isn't going to do anything, is it? It's, if that one day turns into 6 months, as with anything, it's a cumulative effect. But I was written off that day.
Yeah.
Written off that I had no willpower whatsoever.
Just from lack of sleep.
Just for one night.
Yeah. Yeah.
For one night.
Yeah. So what would help people have better sleep? Have you got a few rules for people so that they can sleep better?
Cool.
Share them with us.
Share them. I'll share this with you. Oh dear. So something that we should probably address before we look at what's called sleep hygiene. If you don't believe that you can sleep, if you tell everybody who will listen, I'm a shit sleeper, I'm a terrible sleeper, I don't sleep, all the sleep hygiene in the world is not going to help you. Because you're going to go to bed and you're not going to fall asleep in, it's called sleep latency. You're not going to fall asleep within 10 minutes. And there's going to be a little bit of your brain going, told you. We can't sleep. We can't sleep. Told you. Self-righteous.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, if you are in a position where you do want to prioritize sleep, because that's the key is accepting that you are going to have to prioritize sleep and not just leave it to chance. Yeah. It's like if you're trying to lose body fat, if you're trying to get better at something, you don't just leave it to chance and go, well, Well, that's another shit day.
Hope this works out okay.
Yeah. So a good night's sleep starts in the morning, which sounds kind of ridiculous considering you're probably not going to go to sleep for quite a long time. So as soon as you get up in the morning, it's quite bright in the mornings now. So it's very easy to do here. Just get some natural light in your eyes.
Right.
There are sensors in the eyes which detect light. They send a signal to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, known as the master clock. And that basically is turning the factory on for the day. So all your processes, all your hormonal drives, your ideal time to exercise, to eat, for peak mental state, everything kind of comes online. Then 12, 14 hours later, your body will then start to secrete a hormone called melatonin. And it's melatonin which helps us go to sleep.
Right.
So the first thing you can do to really kind of zero in, really synchronize your own circadian rhythm is get outside in the morning.
Okay.
Literally, it could be as little as 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 20. You walk around the block. I just go and stand outside in the garden, naked.
Of course.
In the rain.
Got to give the
Like
neighbours
an 80s music video.
Got to give the neighbours a thrill.
So that's where we can kind of look at starting. So what we want to do is we want to increase our light exposure in the morning, but then as we get through the day, we want to start decreasing that. So we want to start kind of sending a signal to the brain. This is where people who spend all day and all night with the mobile phone like this and then go, I can't sleep. You've been staring at a very bright light. That bright light is sending a signal to your brain saying, it's daytime. We don't need to go to sleep. We're sound.
And the content they're watching is emotional and sexual and funny.
It's I don't know if is stimulating the right word. I think what's more than stimulating though?
Like hyper arousal.
Yeah, 100%. So not only have you got the kind of the physical light going into your eye, you're getting triggered by what someone else on the other side of the world is saying. So then your subconscious is ticking over all night going, are they talking about me? Do they mean me, mate? They're talking about, do they think I'm some kind?
Because your brain doesn't know it's not about you.
No.
It can't tell. No. It thinks that person
your brain sees what it wants to see.
Yeah.
So light in the morning, limit the light in the evening, turn your screens onto night mode, wear sunglasses in the afternoon. I know you wear sunglasses 27 hours a day.
I love it.
So what I would probably suggest to you is don't wear your sunglasses in the morning unless you're driving. You're going to crash.
Yeah.
But so you're getting all the light exposure you possibly can into your eyes in the morning, and then later on in the afternoon, that's when you whack your sunglasses on.
So it sounds a bit mad to people who don't know it, but your brain is really responsive to light.
Yes,
and
light is one of the main cues. You call it Zeitgeber, is one of the main cues when it comes to the sleep wake cycle. So
it sounds daft, but I remember getting that advice, and it actually works. So in the last 2 hours before bed, you should be dwelling in what in the house should be in like twilight.
Yeah.
Like just after the sun has gone down, very low lighting.
100%, yeah. And they did an experiment where they took a load of insomniacs and they took them camping in the woods for 2 weeks with zero artificial light. The only light they had was daylight and firelight.
Right.
By the end of the 2 weeks, they were sleeping right through.
Yeah.
Because they were all the cues that we're supposed to have. When was it Edison that invented the light bulb? As soon as he invented that, everybody's sleep just went to pot.
Right.
Because at no point ever was it dark.
Somebody in the comments is going to be like, no, Edison stole that from Tesla. Or okay. Some fella invented a thing.
There was a guy who did a thing.
He was an old fella.
Who ruined another thing.
And he stole it and whatever,
So that's light. So then we've got, for our bodies to actually initiate sleep, we need to drop our brain temperature, our body's temperature by a couple of degrees. So something that you can do, which sounds counterintuitive, if you have a hot bath 2 hours before you go to sleep, what that's going to do is that's going to massively increase your body's temperature so that when you get out of the bath, your body is going to be radiating heat at a rate of absolute knots. So your temperature is going to drop just enough for you to go to sleep.
Sorry, I'm laughing. It's because I know that you take baths and you usually send me a WhatsApp message when you're in the bath. He doesn't say he's in the bath, but he'll send me a message be like something about training or business and also splash, splash, splash in the background. I'm like, why do you message me? You're obviously in the bath going, I think it's time to message Richard.
I think it's time to talk to me, our mate, Ricky Doo-Doo. I know, it's mad, isn't it? That's what I do my best thinking, mate.
It's that is a good, when you float in water like that, you can actually, you get a pleasant state of dissociation going. Yeah. It is easier to think.
Nice. Yeah. It's nice. And so we've got the counterintuitive way of cooling the body is by heating it. So a lot of people will be like, I'll just have a cold shower. I'll just have a cold shower. That'll cool me down. That does the exact opposite. That just puts your body shits itself because the temperature drops and then it just does everything it can to heat up.
Right.
So you end up going to bed sweating, which sounds ridiculous, but that's how we use kind of hot and cold therapy. So 10 minutes, 40 degrees, something like that. Hot, not boiling hot, but hot enough to know that you're in a bath. That's going to massively help you. Not eating 3 hours before bed. I know this is something that made you go,
yeah, I'm terrible for eating at night.
Yeah. What, do you mean anything? Would there be any food? Or?
Is there something I can put in my face?
What we need to do is again, we'll come back to the body's temperature fluctuations. When we eat, we heat up. It's called thermogenesis. So our body is digesting and metabolizing food, which means that our body can't kind of calm down. At nighttime, we're not really supposed to be eating at night anyway. We're supposed to get all our food in the day. And then at nighttime, that's when we give our digestive system a rest. That's when everything's supposed to be kind of calmed down. So if we can make sure that any food that you have is long gone. I finish eating at about 5 o'clock.
That's amazing. That really, like I can do the 16-hour fasts, but I would typically do like 8 till 12. I'm going to try and organize the day. Yeah. Because I'm setting up a 30-day challenge soon and I'm going to try and do what you're doing.
You'd be surprised,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone that I was speaking to one of my clients last night and he was like, Dan, he said, I'm just not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
Because we kind of, throughout the 24 hours, we kind of flow. We kind of get into a rhythm. So when you first, it's called time restricted eating. When you do first get into flipping the fast on its head, if you like, yeah, you are hungry because habitually, while Coronation Street's on, you have a bowl of cereal. Of course you do. Habitually, that's when you eat your Haribo. That's when you eat the stuff that you probably know that you're not supposed to eat.
Yeah.
But once you flip that around, your hunger cues just kind of lessen. They did some studies and they found that there's a hunger hormone called ghrelin. Yeah. And that ghrelin is what, when your stomach goes, that's ghrelin going, come on.
Ghrelin growling.
Give me some food. the signal, the ghrelin signal in the evening, once you get into time restricted eating, it lessens. So you're not hungry. I'm not hungry after 6 o'clock.
So just to be clear though, what you're saying is you don't prep your final meal at 5. The fork is down on the plate. So what you're saying is if you're getting through 2,500 calories for the day, you've done that in between 6 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock at night, you're finished.
Yes. Well, when we're looking at time restricted eating, this could probably be an entire different episode.
Yeah.
When we're looking at time restricted eating, we're looking at getting all our energy intake for the day in a 12-hour period.
Okay.
If you can reduce that to 8 to 9 hours, that's when we start looking at increasing fat loss as well.
Yes.
But purely for metabolic health.
Okay. If
you can get all your energy in, I have my first meal. Don't get me wrong. If I'm starving, hungry, I don't punish myself. I have something to eat.
Yeah.
I don't hit myself with branches and stuff.
Could you for money?
I do.
Danny's OnlyFans account will be open next week.
Like Silas, the mad monk, with his tongue on his leg. If I'm hungry, like this morning, I was up at 6 and I had something to eat at about 8:15 because I was starving hungry. And I knew, again, we're looking at the laws of individuality. I knew that I had a long coaching call with a client and then I knew I was coming here. Normally, 10, 11 o'clock would be my first meal. And then before 5, sometimes if Amy's working and she's not home, I'm not that horrible that I go, I've eaten. Goodbye. You know, I'll have my tea with her. But generally, I've finished eating at the latest 6 o'clock.
I'm gonna try and do that. I mean, it would be revolutionary for me because I'm a breakfast misser, and on that protocol, I would have to get.
Do you know why you're a breakfast misser?
Why?
Because you eat everything at night.
It's naughty, isn't it?
So you're not hungry in the morning.
Yeah.
And this is why people go, oh, do you know what? I just don't want breakfast in the morning. Like, it's because you had an entire bag of Haribo just before you went to bed.
That's why you're not hungry, lad.
No, it's not. It is.
It is.
It is. And don't get me started on the family-sized bag of Doritos that you also had. So you're going to bed not hungry and then waking up in the morning, giving it big licks like, I just can't eat breakfast in the morning. It makes me feel sick. It's because you're still full.
Yeah. You're not in a post-prandial.
Post-prandial, yeah.
Yeah, you're not there yet.
If you can flip that around, you won't be hungry. Amy's 50 kilos and just is like, there's like nothing of her. But she doesn't eat a lot of food, but she'll have a bowl of Frosties at like 8 o'clock, something like that.
In the morning?
No, at night.
Oh, at night.
She'll have a bowl of Frosties at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I'm seething. I'm like, do not listen to anything I say. But I'm not hungry. I don't go, fuck. At first, I was like, and anyone that I work with the same, anyone, as soon as they start implementing it, like, this is shit. I am starving. But then within a couple of weeks, their hunger pattern moves to earlier on in the day. So you get up, you have a high protein breakfast, then you have a high protein lunch, and then for your evening meal, you know, you could look at having a higher protein, higher carbohydrate meal, and you're done.
I really think that this would help me a lot because I think a lot of my insomnia is food related. I know it is because I'm waking up really hot and agitated. Yeah, and it's and with weird dreams, probably because there's just too many calories trying to go through my system. So the baseline rule for most people would be 3 hours before sleep. You should have finished your last meal.
You should be done, yeah.
But you're saying this is a slightly different thing. This is like for real metabolic health.
Yeah,
5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, well, it all depends what time you go to bed. And again, it's very individual. I work with people who've got kids who are like, Dan, listen, I get what you're saying, but I just can't do that. So we adapt it then. So we go, okay, let's bring your first meal a little bit later, and then because obviously one thing that we like to look at is the family dynamic. You're not gonna the last thing you want is for people to be like, I know you're eating fish fingers and chips, kids, but I'm having this lettuce and that's it. Because then you just alienate yourself.
A spoonful of tuna.
I'm having this. I'm going to lick this almond. It just doesn't work.
So, in terms of the timing of sleep, I know it won't match everybody's lifestyle, but is there an optimum time for a human being to go to sleep?
There's not an optimal time, as in 9, 10 o'clock, whatever. But we do know that 7 to 9 hours is the kind of benchmark. The majority of people, if they could get 6 good hours, that's something that we can build on.
So for me, what if I know that not all sleep is equal. Like if I was doing door work and I went to sleep at 4 until 12 midday and got my 8 hours, that's not as good as 8 hours a night, is it?
No, humans are diurnal. We're supposed to be asleep at night. We're supposed to be awake in the day, which is why I've done nights, and I think you've done proper nights in the past. You could have the longest night shift on the face of the planet, but you will still struggle to go to sleep when you get up because you've got two drives, two processes when it comes to sleep. You've got your sleep drive, your wake drive. So during the day, you've got a chemical called adenosine building up in the brain. Adenosine is basically a waste product of energy. So that builds up all day until it gets to a point, bump, where you fall asleep. If you are awake all night and you are pulling an all-nighter, whatever, when you go to bed in the morning, naturally your body's wakefulness, your body's wake drive is increasing. Your body temperature goes up, your heart rate increases, your body won't metabolize fuel, cortisol will spike. Your body wants to be awake in the day, so you are fighting against yourself. So you will, if you're trying to sleep in the day, you will really struggle to go through the correct sleep cycles. You'll struggle to spend enough. The majority of your time will probably be in light sleep, which is better than no sleep, but it doesn't have the deep kind of recuperative benefits of REM and deep.
One of the things I found when we were doing door work as well is when you go home, you've been in a club, you've been chatting to your mates, there's been drama going off, there's loads of music, there's the lights going. By the time you go home, you're still a bit adrenalized as well.
Buzzing, yeah.
So you really need that tapering off of stimulation before sleep, don't you?
Yeah, there needs to be a phase in the evening that you get ready for bed, that you prepare yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally for bed.
And how long should that be for people realistically?
Again, everybody's kind of individual. I would probably say 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be looking at finishing your evening meal. You want to be looking at turning off the overhead lights. So you're just using, ideally it's candlelight, but we don't live in that world. So we're just using table lamps. So we're not looking directly at any kind of bulbs. We are limiting screen use. For me personally, my phone goes away at 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
If my kids text me, I don't ignore them, but I'm not.
Daddy's on a sleep cycle. Yes. Sorry, darling.
Daddy doesn't care. So, you know, if my phone's there, but I'm not scrolling on social media, I'm not stimulating my brain, I'm not stimulating or I'm not delaying the release of melatonin. Having a bath to prepare yourself. These are all, I can't think of the right word. These are all signals telling yourself, right, we're getting ready to go for bed. We're getting ready to go for bed. And then when you get into bed, I wear blue light blockers because I read on my iPad with night shift mode on. Kind of like highlighting stuff. So I'll read when I go to bed with blue light blockers on. Generally, I kind of drift off. Something, I forgot, something which has really helped me and helped the clients that I work with is, you kind of mentioned it before, that you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and your brain is just giving it absolute big licks, thinking about things it doesn't need to think about. About an hour before you go to bed, if you do any kind of journaling, do a little mind dump. So just write down a list of things that you've got to do today. Okay. And then the idea is that gets that out of your mind. Yeah. Because if you're thinking, right, I've got to remember to do this, your brain's going, hey, don't forget. I won't forget what, that thing. That's what your brain's doing all night, which is why you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, oh, I need to go and see Rich and do this. Like, what are you doing? So
you're anxious that you'll forget something. Yeah. So whereas if you've written it, you just be like, it's on my list.
Yeah. If you get it down on a page, I've got like a big journal I fill in the morning, fill in the evening, and then I'll just about 8:30, I'll just start writing a to-do list. Okay. And it could be 3 to 5 things. It doesn't have to be every single thing that you're going to do. I'm going to chop some onions and then I'm going to put them in the pan. It doesn't have to be like that. Yeah. It's just literally like, pay this bill, do this thing, go meet Rich, that kind of thing. It'll change the game for you.
Okay. I've never done that, but I do think part of what I'm doing is I'm fighting to remember what to do, and I'm in sort of like a anxious sort of control state. Yeah,
100%.
And the dreams reflect that.
Yeah. And it's the idea is to get you out of that state. Right. And I do it sometimes if I'll forget, because I am human. Not fully.
No, not
fully.
The worst parts of you are human.
The weak parts are. I'll sometimes forget, and then I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'll be like, damn it. Oh no.
Oh God.
Here it comes.
I guess I'm going to be awake for 2 hours now. So what time do you usually go to sleep?
I am terrible at this. My girlfriend goes mental. She's like, why have we got a bedtime? We are adults. Why do we have
I've had that same
bedtime
argument.
Yeah.
I've had the same thing. I've even had the argument like, it's time for bed now. I'm not going to bed. Like, why are you acting like you're 5?
Yeah.
We've got stuff to do.
Yeah, 100%. So my bedtime.
Yeah.
That just sounds bad, doesn't it?
It sounds like you've got a teddy and a blanket. Time for bed, Danny.
I haven't.
My bedtime.
It's not a teddy. It's like a lion.
Me and my lion are going to bed now.
Come on, Rory.
Rory the lion. Time for bed, Rory.
9:25.
Really?
Yeah, 9:25.
And you're off. You go up to bed.
Yeah, and I say, you can come or you can stay. It's up to you. And she's just like, okay.
I've said literally the same thing.
Yeah.
You're going to stay here and watch TV,
It's
are you?
completely up to you what you do.
Do what you want.
9:25. 9:25. I'm up the stairs. I'm not that bad a person to be with. 9:25. I'm up the stairs, clean my teeth, get into bed, and about
little nightcap on.
Yeah, wee willy winky by candlelight.
Willy winky.
And then before 10 o'clock, my eyes are closed.
And can you get to sleep easily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's 7 days a week.
I can get to sleep easily. My problem has been this thing of staying asleep, but I would typically be like midnight. And so what you're saying is, it's not, if I go at midnight, it's not terrible, but it's not as high quality sleep as if I'd gone off by 10.
No, you're missing out on a good amount of deep sleep.
And that, the deep sleep, you said that's the physical.
That's the physical, yeah.
So if we're in the gym and we're trying to get gains, but we're not sleeping properly, just burning through the motor, really.
Sleep is for the weak, apparently. That's what they say. Sleep when you're dead, which is ironic. Because if you don't, you will.
You will be dead.
I had something amazing to say then. I can't remember what it was.
Hashtag hustle culture. I never really, I mean, with like, well, you got me into doing 75 hard. I've done a couple of them. The fasting, obviously with the training as well. If it's deprioritized, I don't think everybody would have got the point before. People are into the training that if you train really hard and then you try fasting on top of it, the thing that woke me up at 3 a.m, that would have been cortisol in response to the stress I was under. Is that true to say?
Maybe. Cortisol wakes you up. Cortisol's got this terrible reputation. And at the wrong time of the day, it's not ideal. But it's cortisol. Cortisol is a thing which is driving wakefulness in the morning, which is why you shouldn't really have a coffee as soon as you get up, because it's working on a different kind of system.
Okay.
So it's when your sleep drive diminishes and your wakefulness drive starts, your body will dump a load of cortisol in your system. It'll speed your heart rate up, it'll metabolize fuel, and it'll raise your body temperature. So it's cortisol is vital in the morning to kind of wake you up. So whether it's the cortisol or not that's keeping you awake, it's probably just the fact that whenever people wake up in the night, it's generally to do with temperature or light or noise. So I live on quite a busy road. So I actually recorded myself sleeping for a few nights, but it was just ruining it was just my screen time was going through the roof and it was just driving me bananas. And probably 5 or 6 times a night, a car would go past and it was like the car was in the room.
Really?
It was so loud.
Yeah.
And that kind of correlated when I looked at my sleep data. It's like, well, you're waking up there, you're waking up there, you're waking up there. So now I've made a few kind of adjustments and I don't wake up anywhere near as much.
Okay.
So with you, I don't know where you are now, but in the past, I know that you've lived in some pretty noisy places.
Ibiza was noisy as
there you go.
Fuck.
So you are disturbed, and then especially you being you and
a maniac.
Yeah. I don't sleep. I'm easy to wake up because of things that we've both experienced.
It's called PTSD. Yeah.
Well, you can call it that if you like.
It's not hard to wake me up, dagger in hand. Where's the enemy?
Hammer. Yeah, so that's if you're waking up a lot.
Yeah.
That's generally to do with temperature. You know, if the ideal temperature for a room is 18 degrees to go to sleep, which is a lot colder than you think.
Right.
So if your room temperature is a little bit high, you're going to wake up a lot throughout the night.
Okay. Yeah, 18 degrees C is actually, it's pretty.
It's fairly cold,
That's cool. That's cool. You definitely need your duvet.
It's colder than you imagine.
Right. Yeah, because I know with the air conditioning being in Spain, that like when you go, oh, it's boiling, let me stick it on 18 degrees C. You don't want that.
No.
It's cool. So you got to be cool. You got to stop eating. You've got to reduce your light. You got to start the day early. What about caffeine? You got any rules for caffeine intake?
Caffeine.
You just said the first cup of coffee in the morning doesn't do anything. Could you explain that for people?
So for the first 90 minutes or so, you don't need coffee.
Okay.
Coffee at that time is just a habit. It's just something that you like, something that you think that you need. When really it's cortisol, which is driving the kind of wakefulness. If you can delay your coffee, I generally tell clients and people I work with in my programs to have a litre of water as soon as you get up in the morning. You just through your breath overnight, you lose a litre of water. So if you can rehydrate straight away, that's going to put you in a really, really good place. But that also means that in 90 minutes or if you can delay your first coffee, that first coffee is going to do exactly what caffeine is supposed to do and not the abuse of caffeine, which is, and if there's any fit pros watching this, the fitness industry is an absolute nightmare for caffeine abuse. Whenever I talk about caffeine abuse, whenever I talk about reducing caffeine consumption, 99% of the people that kick off are fit pros.
Really?
Yeah, because they get triggered by it.
Because they're actually addicted to caffeine.
Oh my! Because they live on caffeine. I was the same when I was working in gyms. I was the exact same. It's weird. It seems to be this like kind of badge of honor. Oh, I'm going to have 27 coffees, and it's like, well, okay,
yeah,
okay. Anything that if you don't have it for a certain amount of time makes you feel like shit, probably isn't the best thing for you to be having.
That sounds like an addiction.
Well, addiction, abuse. You say tomato, I say yes, you're addicted. Caffeine works on, we touched before on sleep drive, the buildup of adenosine. What caffeine does is it blocks the adenosine receptor in the brain. So for all intents and purposes, your brain's going, oh no, there's no adenosine. Oh, it's sound. Let's do loads of stuff. Yeah. The adenosine's still building up.
Yeah.
So then as the caffeine wears off, you're like that because you've got this big buildup of adenosine finally getting to the receptor.
Yeah.
So you have another coffee.
Yeah.
And then you have another coffee. And then you spend the entire day caffeinated off your bananas so that you can't sleep. You have a shit sleep, which means you get up in the morning and you start the cycle again with more caffeine. Yeah. So then one cup becomes two and 2 cups become 4. And the thing with caffeine is it's got the half-life of caffeine is about 5 to 6 hours. So if you have 100 milligrams of caffeine, in 5 or 6 hours, there's going to be about 50 milligrams of caffeine still in your body.
Wow.
The quarter life is about 10 to 12 hours, meaning, and I'll use me as an example, I used to have 5 cups of coffee in the morning.
Wowie.
Before Amy got up.
Good God.
I'd be absolutely off my
You have a little espresso machine in yours. Do you mean you'd have 5 espressos?
Yeah,
before?
5 of them, yeah.
So like, good morning, my love. How are we?
Why have you got a traffic cone on your head? Just because I have. And I like it. So if let's say I have 4 coffees at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
12 hours later, I've still got the equivalent of 1 cup of coffee flowing through my veins.
Wowie.
So 8 in the morning. So 8 o'clock at night, I've still got a big, huge dose of caffeine.
Right.
Flowing through my body, keeping me awake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then obviously, again, like I just said, you start every single day in more and more sleep debt because you're just not getting the sleep that you need.
So do you have any rules for people as far as coffee goes? Like what time should be the last coffee of the day?
I would say, personally, get all your caffeine done in the morning.
Yeah, before midday.
A good rule of thumb, if that's the word, is 2 milligrams of caffeine per kilo of body weight ideally should be all you're having.
Do you know that the rule of thumb was like how wide the rod you could beat your wife with.
Beat your wife to death with or something.
Yeah. We still say it like it's not, there's a rule of thumb.
Like it's completely normal.
Like it's normal to legislate how viciously you can beat people.
I'd hate that, wouldn't it? Like a big cane.
A cane, as long as it's thinner than your thumb. That was it. But if you've got a fat thumb, that would really... might edit this. I don't know where I'm going with this. And that's how he got cancelled. There was no more YouTube for Richard Grannon.
How come you work at Morrison's now? Well, let me tell you.
You know, I've actually thought about going back to door work and taxiing just so I'm not online anymore because it's such a weird job. I just like, let me go back to a normal life.
Oh my God, taxiing. Remember that?
Yeah, taxiing. That was all right, that. No. Door work, that was a laugh.
No.
Fighting with scallies at 2 a.m.
Yeah, for like £9 an hour or whatever it was.
For £9 an hour. So...
Right, what were we saying?
Something about sleep.
Sleep.
So you've got, for people who want to know more about sleep, whether they're trying to lose weight, build muscle, or just regulate their lifestyle, you've actually got a new course, haven't you?
Indeed.
What is it called and where can they find it?
The Sleep Lean program is what we've, is it monikered?
You can
monikered.
You'd say it's a moniker.
It's a 4-week sleep optimization program with a structured syllabus to follow. And then once a week we have a group coaching call. There's various challenges throughout the kind of week. So on the coaching, not the coaching
call.
The coaching calls are different.
That's a different thing. That's your
the next
fans.
level. That's my OnlyFans. On the coaching calls, we just talk about whatever it is that's kind of stopping you sleeping.
Because everybody's going to have their own individual thing.
The laws of individuality, which is huge and which is what a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people are like, you will do this and that. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
You know, which is a lot of coaches without kids and a lot of coaches without any kind of grip on the real world, and they just see what they do.
Yes.
They kind of don't get the laws of individuality. So on the coaching calls, we'll talk about whatever it is that they are struggling with.
Yeah.
And what I really love about the program is it's nothing to do with social media.
That's lovely.
It's the group is housed in my smartphone app.
Okay.
So it's not, I work with a lot of people who aren't on Facebook. A lot of people who are on LinkedIn but not on Facebook. A lot of people on Facebook, not LinkedIn. What this does is it means that you don't have to have a social media account.
Okay.
And if you are on social media and if you are actively trying to not be on social media, like I'm massively trying to reduce my exposure, it's nothing to do with it. And it's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
There's probably lots of stuff that I'd like to add, but it's not stuff that we can talk about on here. No, man, it's been good. I've really enjoyed it. This is the stuff which I really buzz off talking about. I really enjoy helping people with their sleep. I really enjoy, I think is it called red pilling people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I red pilled you a bit the other day.
Yeah. I was actually, I'd never thought about it. I was quite shocked, and I was like, I could say it myself. I could say it my clients when I do the 30-day challenge with them. I'm going to say, let's try and stick to these principles and make sure that whilst we're, you know, if you're pressuring yourself to do anything, whether it's to build muscle or to overcome things therapeutically, let's just give ourselves that bit of support and be like, okay, because you're pushing your system through something. It's stress. So then compromise. You go, okay, system, here's some sleep so that you can process it.
Here's some sleep.
Here's some sleep for you. Diddly diddly
Sandman.
Enjoy. And it just, like you say, improves resilience, improves adherence and discipline, and your perspective of the stress will improve. So.
Everything. Pretty much every situation that you are struggling with can be massively improved just by going to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just by giving sleep the priority that it deserves. People kind of prioritize, or they think they prioritize, oh, to be nutrition, oh, to be training, it's this, that, and the other. Go to sleep, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to sleep. Balance your hormones.
100%.
Awaken you. Danny, it's been a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for coming in, sir.
No problem.
And let's do this again.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, for your attention. If you want to know more about Danny's Sleep Lean program, please hit the link below. Thank you.
Hey folks, hopefully you enjoyed the conversation that me and Rich have just had. And if you feel like this is something that you could do with getting a handle on, We have a Black Friday offer. So if you click the link above right now, you will be able to join the program at a 50% discount.